Hey guys, it's Leesh, and welcome back to Car Confessions. Guys, I'm trying a new platform, so I'm trying to figure out if this is even working properly. I think it is. Yeah, we'll see what happens here. Um, it is Tuesday, and the Tuesday after the eclipse, and it's wild because I think so many people had all these expectations of what was going to happen. It's funny when you look at social media because you get different takes of what people think is going to take place. And so, of course, I'm going down the rabbit hole of all the things that people think will happen to them during this eclipse. And, you know, one of the most popular, which was wild, well, not saying popular, it was one of the most popular, let's just be serious, was, people thinking it was the rapture. And for those who might not know what the rapture is, like when Jesus comes again. Um, and he'll be caught up like a thief in the night type of situation. Uh, so that was one thing. Some people thought there was going to be this, major, um, shift in them where they would turn into some type of I don't know, like superhuman or something. There's a lot of stuff. Let's be serious. But I, what I will say is, since the eclipse, I feel like things are a bit lighter. I could be wrong. It could just be all in my head. I don't know. But I do feel like a lot of the heaviness that I felt before is slowly being lifted and done away with. And maybe that's just because people are changing their mindset around, you know, the day to day, like the mundane things that we deal with, each and every day. Because to experience a solar eclipse, it's very rare, right? It's few and far between that we will have these opportunities. So I think that excitement, right? And that sense of um, this unity of humans coming together to witness this type of phenomenon, I think that, you know, yields like a sense of positive energy in the world that can't be denied, right? People can argue it, fine, whatever, but I really feel that. I really feel like when we all, as humans, come together on something and all that energy is focused in on the excitement, the joy, the whatever, there's a shift. There's almost like a lifting of energy, Um, so it's really cool, I think in that regard. But at the same time, I guess that can be said about the negative things that happen in the world as well. The more energy we put in that, the more fuel that is placed on that particular fire, and then here we are, right? So it's really interesting just to see how certain things can cause such joy and excitement or upset or whatever the situation is, right? But on a collective, it's just such a cool experience. At least for me, I thought it was a really cool experience. And it was fun when I had the opportunity to, witness it yesterday. I was still at the school that I was at, so we were with the kids, and it was just really cool just to see them experience it. I think that's one of the joys of working with kids and being around kids is just seeing their reactions and the pure form of just excitement and whatever little imaginary things they're thinking about, or not, I shouldn't say imaginary, but um where their actual imagination takes them. And it's really cool. It was really a really cool experience, and I hope you guys had a good time experiencing solar eclipse if you had the chance to do that. um it was cool. It was really cool, and I'm glad that I had the opportunity to actually witness it. um so yeah, I am on my way home. I'm a little tired. Actually, yesterday I was wiped after the solar eclipse. Let's just be clear. Completely wiped out. Um, And I know a lot of that was due to just, I could think all the anticipation, and I had some other stuff, like errands I had to run after work. So I was like spent, you know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, I'm still kind of a little, even though it's like the end of the work day, I'm just really tired, you know? So it's one of those days, you know, where we're just getting it together. And that's one thing I'm realizing in my life. It's like there's never a moment where I have it all the way together, right? You know, there are moments where I start figuring things out and getting better and better at understanding things or doing things. But there's never this pinnacle, right? Where it's like I've reached the mountaintop and I'm perfect, right? Because there's so many parts of what we and who we are, right? And so there's never that opportunity to know it all, to be it all, to do it all. And I'm learning that slowly but surely. I'm learning that even though like I'm aware that this life is a journey, every once in a while I forget and then I have to be reminded like, oh, like there's no, you know, mountaintop and you stay there, right? I mean, you can have like some high moments, obviously, right? I mean, you can have mountaintop moments, but then know that once that's over, it's back to either starting something new or, you know, attempting to maintain whatever that is, you know. So there's always these moments of constantly being on some sort of journey to improving ourselves, to, you know, reaching certain goals, you know. So it's just never ending until we die, right? And that's where I have to constantly give myself. You see these roads, guys? Oh my goodness, so much so I've lost my face there. You see, that's what happens with these roads in New York are insane. You would think they would start fixing them. I talked about this the other day. Like, it's just ridiculous how many potholes. Now, there are so many potholes in the road. Yeah, it's crazy. If you don't live here, you might not experience that. And you might experience it wherever you're from. But it is bananas. Like, it is crazy town how many potholes that I am experiencing each and every day here in the city. And it just gets worse and worse, you know. But I digress. But yeah, so it's like, this idea of us constantly in on this journey, I have to give myself grace and know that, you know, a journey is literally what it is. It's like you discover things, you realize, oh, I like this, or oh, I'm you know, reverting back to blah 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 blah, or whatever. It's us constantly being aware of ourselves, of the people around us, and being mindful of all of that, in a way that is not harmful, but hopefully helpful, you know? Hopefully helpful for yourself, for those around you. Because it can be real. Okay, this guy just literally almost ran me over. What is going on with these people today? But yeah, it can literally be so overwhelming just navigating our day-to-day lives, you know? Sometimes you don't even think about it. It's just kind of like, why am I so overwhelmed? And then when you start really thinking about all the things that you're trying to do and doing them in a way that's, you know, good for you and for those around you. And then sometimes you have to make tough decisions, as it relates to possibly doing things that are best for you that might not, you know, that might hurt someone. You know, they might feel like upset because you have, you know, created a boundary or whatever. I mean, it's a wild ride, this life. So I'm just constantly in a space of just saying I'm doing the best I can. I'm literally doing the best I can. And my intentions are never to cause harm or to bring, you know, any type of, you know, grievance to anyone. And if that does happen, you know, I want to, you know, be the first to apologize and do my best to move forward and create change, in some respects, right? Because, like I said, there are some times when you have to make decisions that can be hurtful to someone, and you just have to, know that you are not responsible for how someone reacts to a situation. And see, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many things. You're constantly juggling and making sure and this, that, and the other. But then it also goes back to what I've been saying. I'm doing the best I can. I am doing the best I can. And that for me is comforting. It helps reduce a lot of anxiety that I experience. Um, and it also allows me to provide grace to others in my life that are also doing the best they can. And I think if we start really looking at that, looking at everyone through that lens, they're doing the best they can, it could really change a lot, um, as it relates to just how we, treat each other as humans. Um, and then at the same time, you see, this is what I'm saying, this juggling back and forth, knowing that everyone, and I mean everyone, because you're probably thinking, okay, some of these people out here are just ridiculous and evil and mean, Leesh. Like, what are you talking about? And listen, I hear you. I totally hear you. But as wild and crazy as those actions may be that they're actually doing, it might be their best. Like, really think about that. That's like yikesy. Yikesy. That might be their best. But guess what? If it is their best, that's their best. Do you have to accept it? You don't have to accept it. And see, that's the trick. Like, you don't have to accept it. You don't have to, interact with that or allow that to be something that you are quote unquote dealing with. That's where your boundaries can be set. And that's where that person could possibly get hurt, right? Because you're saying, yeah, that's not for me. And I don't want that in my life, right? That's okay. Because for you, that is not something that you want to bring into your life, right? Or that is not something that works for your life, their best. That's hard, right? That is hard. Particularly when it's like people that are close to you, family, friends, partners. It can be really hard. And it's also really hard to like voice these things. Like, I'm learning to, and I'm trust me, I'm not perfect at this by any means, but I'm learning to be more verbal around how I think and feel, and not, block myself with expressing myself because I'm worried about other people's thoughts and feelings. And it's hard. Let's be serious. It is hard to get to that point, but, for you to be in a position to feel like you are doing what's right for you, it's so important. Like, it's so important for you to make those changes and learn how to be a bit more verbal around how you think and feel. And listen, it is not easy, especially when you've never really been consistent with that type of behavior. It's almost as if you are causing a huge disruption, um, to yourself, to the person, and you're being really coarse and evil and mean. And I mean, the hope is that you're not doing that, because that could be the reality for some people. But for those of us who struggle, like myself, with confronting difficult conversations and issues and things, and it can be really crippling and debilitating to try and move forward with those types of conversations. Um, and here's the thing, like, I can do it in some instances, like certain situations, I have no problem with confronting things. I just don't. I'm like, listen, it is what it is. But a lot of times I find that it can be a bit more difficult when I really, really I care about someone, or someone's hurt me so bad that it's hard for me to even express my feelings around it. And so I just resort to just not saying a word, because it's just too much for me. Um, yeah, but that practice of just coming out and saying things like, I really don't know how to say this, but my feelings were hurt when this and this happened. And not worrying about how that makes the other person feel, that's where it's difficult for me. It's easy to say these things like, oh, don't worry about how they think and feel. They'll be all right. Yeah, I mean, that's in theory, yes. But in practice, yikes. It can be really, really scary. Pretty scary to me. And for some other people, they're like, girl, it's not a big of a deal. Just do it. Baby steps, guys. Baby steps. That's a part of my journey. That is a part of my journey. Is really just being that adult in my life that is reparenting myself in ways of saying, hey, it is okay to express your feelings. It's okay to let someone know that they hurt your feelings. And it is okay to have all the feelings that you have while you're expressing all that to that person. But it is not okay for you to take ownership of their thoughts and feelings and to make them feel comfortable. That is not your responsibility. And the guidance that is needed when you're in these situations, I'm here to, be that support. I'm here to guide us through that. And it's wild because it's like you don't think that you would be your own guide, if that makes sense. Like I never really looked at myself as my own guide. Like I never put that in words. Like I would talk to myself, right? Kind of guide myself through things, but not really knowing that that's what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like it just never was something that I knew I could do for myself. And the more that I'm learning about self and self-care and all those things, I'm realizing that this whole idea around adults reparenting themselves is so real. Like it is beyond real. Um, and to be in a position to nurture yourself and care for yourself and guide yourself in ways that you needed when you were a child, it's difficult. It's hard because a lot of those tools you may or may not have. And that might be where you have to then incorporate therapy or some type of like modality that will assist you on this journey. Um, a mentor, like whatever that looks like for you. Like this life is wild, man. I'm telling you, and it's like every day you're learning something new and discovering things that's like, wow, I had no idea that I would be into that or whatever that case may be. Like it's just never, like I said, it's never ending, never ending. But then there's beauty in that, right? There's beauty in knowing that there's always another chance. There's always another attempt to make things right, make things better. I shouldn't say right, but make things better. Because we're always that's what we're doing, just trying to get better and better and better at this life. That's what I'm trying to do each and every day is just get better and better and better at this life. Whether that's through me, being that guide for myself, me seeking, resources through like therapy or mentorship or whatever that is. I just want to live this life knowing that I did my best and I loved humanity in ways that were radical, that I'm not looking to be the popular person in the room, and that I am an agent of change. And I also want to be someone who is willing to learn from things that I've done that weren't so great, learn from those mistakes, be better, be able to take criticism and be better. Um, that whole idea of quote unquote ego, like not allowing that side of me to hinder me from growth. I want to constantly grow and be better. And if my feelings get hurt from criticism, why? Why am I so hurt by this? Like really start, being that type of person as opposed to, oh, they're just being rude to me and blah, 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 making those excuses. No, I want to be that person that, like I said, that is creating change, willing to accept change and, grow from whatever is, you know, needed in terms of me growing to be a better person in this life. Yeah. It's wild, y'all. It's wild. It's crazy. And I think, like I said, I think this solar eclipse, it really brought upon this idea around change in ways that, a lot of people have anticipated change in their lives. And, maybe it is bringing around some change that many of us need. Uh, who knows, right? Only time will tell. But I do, like I said earlier, I do feel lighter. I do feel like things are moving in a direction that are a bit more positive. And maybe this is the Pollyanna in me, but I do feel that. And I'm going to put that out there in the universe, that there's positive change that's taking place. And that we as humans are moving into this idea of beautiful change where we start loving each other and seeing each other as human, as opposed to pointing out all the differences that could possibly continue to keep us divided. Yeah, that's where I'm at with it, y'all. That is where I am at with it. And I have made it home. I'm excited about that, let me tell you. I am tired-y-roo, but excited to be home nonetheless. Yeah, guys. I don't know if you felt any type of positive shifts in your life during this whole time of year with this eclipse, but if you have, keep that going, keep that positivity going, and find ways to promote and create more positivity and change for those that are around you, because it's so necessary, y'all. We are in a space where we um, can do more as it relates to just being an encouraging, individual to someone else, providing a helping hand to someone, whatever that is. So I just encourage y'all to do those things because it's so needed in the world. Like it really, really is, y'all. Trying to do this parking situation here. Bam! Yo, I am probably one of the best parallel parkers there are in New York City. I mean, I am. I've learned over the years how to do this because living in New York, either you figure it out or your car is, you're going to be somewhere looking really crazy. Now I've learned how to get in some really tight spots. Yeah, that's what New York does to you. It allows you to get in really tight spots and figure it out. Yeah, y'all. Feeling good, a little tired, but feeling good and excited for what is to come in this year. Because I feel like even though we celebrate the new year in January, I'm like, this is New Year. This is when things start blooming and the sun's out longer and we're experiencing all this new life around us. So this is my new year. I don't know about y'all, but this is my new year, my new, the time where I just really start blossoming and seeing all the beauty that is around us. Even though in the winter I still see beauty in like that fall time. Fall actually is my favorite time of year, y'all. Let's be serious. Love the fall. But new beginnings. I feel like we are in a space of new beginnings, and I am excited for that. Um, I don't know what's to come, but I feel like there's goodness around the corner. I think we're still in the thick of a lot of nastiness. I don't know when all this is going to end or if it ever will end, but I feel like there's a push for more positivity and more joy and more creation that is centered around joy, peace, and just happiness and justice for those who are dealing with so much injustice in this world. All right, y'all. I am cooked. I'm going to get out of here, go find something to eat for my family, or cook something rather for my family. And I will see y'all next week. Like I always say, keep on keeping on, and we'll talk soon. Love you.